So, how really disappointing is it really is? It's like in the midst of NSAS protest, we have a pastor who is doing a protest on how Donald Trump is going to win the election. Like, sometimes I'm like, what in the hell is going on? I really don't understand what is going on. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell? So it's like, it's basically like the NSAS issues never even arise in the first place. So this is we now uh, trying to make Donald Trump win the election when there is a, you see why Nigerians are not really serious. You see why they are more. This is why I always say that a lot of them are more stupid. I mean, why are you doing some trying to make sure Trump wins the votes? Like, Trump doesn't live in Nigeria. He doesn't live there. I mean, he live in US, and he also banned a lot of politicians from coming to the US. And then we have a pastor that is, you know, trying to make Donald Trump win the votes. You can see how brainwashed they are, how freaking stupid they are in the midst of NSAS, in the midst of protests. One of the things I also expected was, I'm also saying is, I feel like Nigerians, it's not even feel like, I really believe it, that Nigerians did not ask for more of it. They didn't ask for more demands. Like, they needed light, for instance. It is their right to have light, because without light you can't build there is no company that doesn't have light in the Western world. There's none of it. I mean, you have Scotland, you have England, you have Germany, every company, they all have light. You need light to be able to create. You need light to be able to work. Even supermarket has light. They need to distribute. They need it. They need all these things. So I feel they did demand for more, and then you still have people like who are trying to make Donald Trump win the election. Like, what the hell are you thinking? When you should be protesting for them to be able to give you a lot of things, light, good schools, and good create jobs for people to be able to work, more pays and stuff. These are the things they need. Look at the same police officers who are trying to who the people are trying to make sure they get good earning, 40,000. Even me that's a student, I'm even a big man in the presence of the police in Nigeria. I'm a big man. I'm a student, but I earn more money than they do. So these are the things that need to come into this. So what the hell are you doing election for somebody else, for a different country? Election in NSAS time? I mean, these people are really, these are the kind of people who really pisses you off. I feel like Nigerians are not angry enough. They should be more angry. You should demand for more than 8 things that you need in that country. More than 8. It is your right to demand for all these things. I mean, I feel there should be there should just be protests. All this curfew that the government are releasing are just for them to chill off the things, cool off. For instance, you have things in Lekki toll gate that was never reviewed. They are just going to look beyond this and say, okay, they are not going to really investigate these things. I know this is how they behave. They are not going to investigate it. And we all know these things. They are not going to investigate it. They're only going to be talking about, you see how they round up people who went and loot warehouses and all these things. They rounded them up. Very simple, talking about technology that they use to round them up. You have um, Lagos State Governor, what's his name? Olo Sawo, whatever they call his name. Don't know how to pronounce his name anyway. You have him talking about they have CCTV camera for license plates, and he also said that they had a CCTV camera for that is actually there to see faces, to capture faces, and they cannot use this CCTV camera to investigate who did the killings in Lekki Tollgate on that peaceful protesters. You know what I'm really seeing? Like, those soldiers or police officers who killed the protesters are really traitors, because there is no I've never heard where protesters who carried a Nigerian flag, who carried their country flag, are being shot at. They are the first people who actually did this, and it's really they are seen as a traitor, and they are traitors. They have been traitors for a long time, and I'll be saying this about how these people are working together to, with the white men in those days, even in the days of slavery. They worked with them. This is it. They are traitors. This is why there is no way, no matter who is in power, even if you're young, you're a woman, it doesn't matter. This is exactly, almost all Nigerians are corrupt. It's only 1% that is not corrupt. All of them. I've seen it. Corruptions. You go to airports, somebody's asking you for money before you bring your bags out, or lodge in your bag so you can go wherever you're going. So they're corrupt. A lot of them. It's hard to find someone who's not corrupt in Nigeria. It's hard. And no matter how young you are, you have somebody like Desmond Elliot who is talking about we should restrict social media. Like, social media is really the big problem in a society like Nigeria, where there is corruptions, there is mass killing of police officers. Mass killings of civilians by police officers who never investigate Lekki Tollgate. These people don't care about what happened in Lekki Tollgate. Like, it never happened. They are talking about people who loot, COVID-19, and then the so-called, hoodlums who they brought in just to create this mind-blowing. I'm not going to go into that. But I'm talking about the restriction of social media that Desmond Elliot was talking about, even if he already apologized. But I still find it very funny that how do you want to restrict the social media when you are using social media? So Desmond Elliot. I remember the time when he said they should restrict foreign movies. What does foreign movies got to do with your crappy Nollywood movies? It makes absolutely no sense. What does it got to do with that? Have you watched? And there's always somewhat, I've said this before, actually, where someone was saying Nigerians don't have the equipment when it comes to the Nollywood industry. I said it's not about the equipment that you have, it's the mindset. For instance, it's not about the equipment. Have you watched the film called Black and Blue? It was a very good film, basically. Very good. And this is a standard equipment that they use for that movie. It's not, if you have an effect, you need more of it. This is standard. So it's not about the equipment that you don't have. It's about where you are. They are in the industry. It's different between someone who is not in the industry. It's like someone who is in a record label. You can't tell me about you don't have the equipment. What are you talking about? You are in the industry. So if you don't have the equipment, why are you then making a movie? Like you have Nigerian movie where they release movie every month. Who does that? I mean, I've never. That's a weird way to make a movie. Even artists don't even release movies, music that fast like they do. So they are releasing movie that is not good, and they are telling the people to restrict foreign movies. And how does that? Even someone who thinks very perfect, how is he going to think about this? Like, you're not making a good movie, you want to restrict foreign movies. So what about if they also restrict your own movies from coming in? So then, so these things doesn't make any sense. Then you also have the lady who says she has been in England, she has been living there. I mean, she's lived there before, and then there are people who don't have employment, but those people say there are people who don't have employment. They don't do things like lootings and stuff. They have benefit. If they don't have benefit, they will loot. They even loot the Queen's Palace in England. They will loot it. So all those Oba Palace that make no sense. All this, you see, Nigerians are full of culture. Like the way Desmond Elliot was saying, talking about culture. We talk about culture like we knows what we're talking about. You know, Nigeria is not full of culture. It's about doing the right thing. You know, we don't even know her history. We are talking about culture. Like I remember, what's his name again? It's a Nigerian movie what is it? Actor, whatever I call it. I think it's Pet Edochie. Yeah, he too was talking about culture. I mean, these people, like how women dress nowadays, how boys are dressing nowadays, how saying that you should not be dressing like that. Forgetting we don't live in 18th centuries. How Japanese, you can't tell Japanese to come and be dressing like you can't tell Japanese to be dressing like in the days of the 18th centuries. You can't be telling them. So as you can tell Nigerians to be dressing how their parents used to dress in those days, in 18th centuries or long 16th centuries, you can't tell them to be dressing like that. So it is a new generation, so the way they want to dress, that's how the way they want to dress. So if someone wants to put on pants and be walking around, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. But then we are talking about culture that we knows nothing about. He is even young to the culture. He has never experienced the days of the old centuries. He has never experienced it. He doesn't know it. He just know how, you see, traditions are being set up by men, so men can also adjust traditions or culture. We have Christmas. Christmas is a culture, it's a tradition. We can change it whenever we want. So it's not really a big deal. You know, the way you do Christmas, why don't we question the way we do Christmas? Nobody does that. No one questions how we do Christmas. But here we're questioning how someone is dressing. And we are talking about our culture that we know nothing about. We don't even know, Nigerians don't even know their history. Pet Edochie, somebody like Pet Edochie, he don't know his history. He's talking about how someone is dressing, a culture that you know nothing about. So these people are talking about Oba Palace. You know, why would they loot Oba Palace? I mean, look at it. Oba is basically like, you know, he has no saying. Have you ever heard a king in Nigeria that ever talk about how it's hard to find anyone, how Nigerians are being treated? They don't care because they get a little bit money from the government and they are okay. And when you're okay, you're able to do whatever you want. You're able to be fine with what the government are doing. They don't care. So if they loot the palace, they loot it. So it's not really, I don't really want to go into about the looting. We're talking about the problem of Nigeria, talking about Oba Palace. So I'm not saying it's good for them to loot, but how do you expect someone who is hungry not to loot? If people in England were hungry, what do you expect of them to do? They are going to loot. They're going to. They get angry and they eat it. They eat everything they see. Package. So it doesn't make any sense what the lady was saying. England has a different advantage. You can't even try to see Nigerian as England because it's not it. They have benefits. If they don't have job, they'll have benefits. So it's not a big deal. From Nollywood movie to politician. And here we have him talking like this.